This is the It's Time to Refresh podcast with Brad Riffresh, the podcast about life, music, traveling, shit, literal shit that is, and weird and wacky stories with Brad, and a range of guests from the planet Earth. Feel free to share the pod with your pals, your mom, your neighbor's dog, or even your shrink. It's all fun. You can follow our Facebook group called It's Time to Refresh Community, or It's Time to Refresh on Instagram. Write into the pod, ask questions, and share your stories. Enjoy the pod.
Hey kid, what time is that?
It's time to refresh.
You all right? How we doing? Just want to take 2 minutes of your time before we start this week's podcast to tell you about our Patreon. Patreon is a tool that we're using to help the podcast grow, give you better content, and, well, as I said, just let the podcast grow. So we've got 3 tiers. The first tier, there's only 20 of these spaces available, and it's £1 for life, and that's for It's Time to Refresh Originals. So if you've tuned in from day one and you want to join the cause, you can sign up for £1. Just follow the link in the description. We've got the standard Patreon, which you get access to bonus episodes, some exclusive content, Patreon specials, which we'll be recording, and early access to all future episodes. So you'll be getting them on a Tuesday instead of a Friday, which I think is fucking amazing for £3. That's less than a coffee. And then we've got our legend status VIP Patreons, which is £10. And that gets you tickets to all my gigs, and it will get you free entry to any It's Time to Refresh associated events, gigs in the future. So that's a little hint of what's coming up in the future. If you do like the podcast, then please share it with your mates. We are trying to grow this little thing we've got going. We've got some amazing guests coming up in the future as well, and we want this to go bigger and better. So sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/It's Time to Refresh. Thank you. Enjoy the episode. Back once again with another episode. On this one, we've got MC Pricey. First time we've just met, really, isn't it? Like we come across each other at Sanctuary in Carlisle
last year, wasn't it?
Last year, but other than that, we've never actually had a conversation. So this is like brand new.
I know.
So how you doing, mate? All right.
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah. I heard of you in sort of after the lockdown, like that when I seen you on that flyer with Sanctuary. Have you been around a long time, or like what?
I started writing about 13, so I'm 30, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
And then like come through Bolton, Harmony, same place, like Clover and Viper and that. Yeah. They really taught me. And then, like I said, knocked it on head when I had my kids and stuff and that, and I was a bit too young for to start getting bookings. Obviously, they went to Pier.
Yeah. And
it was a bit sour grapes. I thought, and then before you know it, you've got kids, haven't you? And then
just life. Just life, isn't it? Yeah, just life. But so we're meant to be doing Sanctuary tonight, but unfortunately it's cancelled. Would have been a good night as well.
I love Black Box.
It is proper sweat.
Yeah, it's meant.
Really intimate with the crowd as well.
Yeah.
So we'll just get straight into your story. Like, where did it all start for you? Like, where did you want to be an MC straight away, or was it were you into bounce music, or were you into rap music? Or?
It was like Eminem. Always, right. And then obviously Method Man, 50 Cent, all that. It was all that type of stuff, hip hop, R&B. But I never like wrote at that point. And then I think I went on PGL with school, and I had that Walkman with CD player. Yeah. And I think my Eminem CD was scratched, and I bought a Maxime CD, like a copied one off some lad on back row for £1. Yeah. And then listening to that, and then when they'd stop, and I think one day I just ended up carrying someone's rhyme on, like it was just the mad freestyle, and then from there we started going Harmony, and then after a bit you got like started obviously speaking to Clover and Viper, and then they tell you how to like whip your bars out. And then I was always blackout biased, being from Bolton. Yeah. And then listening to Dowie and how he wrote, that's really how I started writing. Like, because back then, he just sounded different because of how he wrote his rhymes. It was to me that was just he's just a bit cleverer at the time than everyone else. that
Yeah.
were doing it, because he were gone to do a bit before Finchy, like it was. I think
Yeah.
like he were like Wigan based, and then obviously when Finchy, everyone kind of improved from there. Like Finchy, everyone got a bit better, and then
So when you were going to Harmony, who was the names that were there? Obviously you had Cover and that, but was there like a core group you were with, or
yeah, there was like
is anyone who's still in the scene?
we did Jonesy used to come down a bit. Jonesy, Bam's still about there. He does more grime now, and he's like all production. He's like
Yeah.
collective. He's still there, same place. Lynchy gets about. John O's my day one.
Yeah.
Known him years. Don't know. There's a few dotted about.
Yeah.
I can't think off the top of my head. But
Mental how it all comes from
a
one
lot of
place,
people,
so,
a lot
like,
of people have used that at some point. I doubt. I think at least most people have been there once or twice.
Yeah. So like, I'm just being sort of riffing here, like, but what was like your first rhyme where you thought, "Oh, actually, this is I'm onto something"? Was it like, is this something you still do now, or?
What was the tune? It was the. I can't remember the rhyme. I don't. Anything I use now is from when I started again 2 years ago.
Right.
Like I didn't carry nothing. I still wrote a bit, but I didn't carry that on. I've just since I
sort of left that
started,
in the
I've just
past,
started
yeah.
afresh from
Right.
there. But the tune was the you know that I'm Blue Dabba Dabba
Yeah.
tune. It was a bounce remix of that,
Right.
and I think that was the first thing I ever recorded, and it were all right. Like because obviously I've always wrote. I'm not very good at freestyling off the top of my head. I can do the basic stuff, what everyone does,
Yeah.
and keep a flow in that. But I can't think of stuff off the top of my head. Anything I say on a mix will be written, probably.
Yeah.
So, I can't remember the rhymes, but that went about like Bolton a bit, like schools and that. And then, but I would never, back then, I never really made much of a name for myself because I'd knocked it out head before I could really get going.
Yeah. So that being said, like when you were doing this, were like obviously as time's gone by, you've came back and that. So did you come back before the pandemic, or was it after, sort of after?
I think I did one little Lynchy. Lynchy it were, who he messaged me best mate, as a matter of fact, who has nothing to do with the scene at all, and said, "Do you still speak to me?" And he just taught me into going into the studio, and I did a video, and it went down all right just before lockdown, and then we went into lockdown, and then kind of just carried on with it. I wanted to do it anyway, but it was always should you not, and then I split up with my ex and that, and then
you thought you'd give it a go.
yeah.
So when you came back, how did you find like writing? Like obviously you've had all this time out. You, as you say, it's been.
I always kept the pen under as I've been out. I've never stopped writing bits, and I still listen to it and that, and then you just think it got to a point where I thought I probably could just drop something like that I'd go off. Like
Right. So what was your return, sort of say, when you came back? Did you put a mix out, or?
Yeah, I went to some studio, I think down the road with Lynchy and John and Vinny T were there.
Right.
And obviously, when I called it a day, CDJs were just coming out, and now it's all this new stuff. And they were just like, I'd never been around like serious scratches because obviously I were only young, I was only 16 when I stopped, so I've never been around like it all. I don't know anything to do with that, and they were just scratching, and it blew me head. And that was my first mix. From there, I said that I'll have to do a mix with him.
Yeah.
And
good DJs, isn't he?
yeah,
really,
got a lot of time for Vinny as well.
Yeah, nice lad.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is like, so you done this mix and that with him. Was the plan to come back to events? Was it to get back on it, or were you just doing it as a bit of a?
It's not really. I was doing it because I think I had 10 years pent up of not doing it. And
the itch never goes, does it?
I think at first it was like I want to get on all events and stuff, and then that's just changed slightly.
So in this time when that you weren't involved, were you going to any of the events or
No,
or
I like
nothing?
two of my kids have got disabilities, so I was literally didn't go out for 10 years, didn't do anything. I don't drink anywhere, so I listened to like mixes, whatever, but obviously it's a lot more event based now. When I were a kid, it were mixes all the time, blackout CDs, frequency volumes.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It's hard to find new. Now I'm back involved in it. You can find, where
It's
to find the
easy,
new mixes. You know
yeah.
what you're looking for. But obviously before that, I didn't have Facebook for 10 years, so it was just YouTube and stuff like that.
Just
and then
finding it like that.
Yeah.
So is there anyone, when you came back, obviously you were saying there's the blackout lot and then frequency and stuff. When you came back, was there names that cropped up you'd never heard of and you're like, oh, these are all right?
I think Pressure were on it. I think Frequency 15 or something like that, or one of the earlier ones. And I heard him then, and he were good. But since, I just think he's the best lyricist that'll ever do it.
Right.
Lyrically. Jid, he's unreal. All Fat Goose.
He's that Fat Goose guy.
All of them. Like, together, it's just a great mix. Easy, he's unreal.
Easy's one of my favourite
Easy,
MCs.
he's just so good. And performing with him, he like brings confidence out of you.
Well,
Like,
I've found, like, when I first, like, nothing against Easy, by the way, what I'm going to say is when I first started seeing him on events, this must have been sort of 2013 maybe, roughly that time. He was always good lyrically. I was always a massive fan of him. I still remember hearing a mix he did, and it was I can't remember who the DJ was. It was like Still No Cheese in the Fridge or something like that. It was called. It was really good. It was him and Lukey, and it was solid. But I always found with Easy, he never had the crowd. Like he was just MCing. There was no like thing. But over the last couple of years, when you see him now, his presence on the stage is fucking it's unbelievable, isn't it? Like
he's so good, and
he's obviously made that conscious decision. Yeah,
as well. He could easily host a set without sounding like any other host. It's still his aggressive like style, but he's so good. Like he's probably my favourite person to perform with.
Yeah, but I think he found a real good balance with throwing out lyrics. Like he could. I know like most of his lyrics, like, but like he could drop one of his like sort of 32 bar lyrics on a drop, and you won't think he's going into much like that. He just seems to time it perfectly.
Yeah, he's got such. It's how I can't write how he does. The way he flows over bars and like it's like his bars are extended and every word is just clear as crystal.
Yeah. He's obviously worked really hard on it as well, definitely. So. Obviously, so you've discovered these when you've came back, because, as I say, they weren't around the first time you were around. Did you find, with me, when I discover like new producers, for instance, I always feel like you need to like up your game, because you hear something and it's like, that's good.
Well, that's all right. Like now, if I write something now, I go off. Would Dowie say it? Would G say it? Would Pressure say it? And if I don't think they would, I won't use it. That's like the bar for me. G, Pressure. Yeah. Obviously Finchy and Corver and that, like they've elevated it. They can do anything. They're god tier MCs. Like Corver can do a mix, going hard, spitting bars with everyone. Yeah. Go to Sank in front of a couple of 100 people, and then go to a festival in front of thousands of people. And
he changes it up as well.
He's just and like they're a rare breed and it's mad to watch. But like again, I just don't think I could ever do that. Not that like, do you know what I mean? It's just that's just next level of something in you that I ain't got. But I'm okay with that though. Do you know what I mean? Not everybody can do that, else it wouldn't be as special.
Do you not think that sort of just refining your craft or like that?
Yeah, but again, I don't like. I watch them do it, and like when you see Corver do that, and I'm in awe of it. It's meant, but at the same time, I know admit that I don't want to do that. I'd like, do you know what I mean?
You're not doing your own thing. Yeah, absolutely.
That's not my like aim to do the festival thing. Yeah. As much as that might sound weird. Like, do you know what
definitely.
I mean? Like,
I can relate to it definitely. So when you've been sort of getting back into this and stuff, like how were you getting your name back out there? Were you sending these mixes you done? Did you say you done one with Vinny?
Yeah, I did one with Vinny. No, I don't like over promoing stuff. I just think if it's good, people will listen. Like, do share it does. Like, people need to get behind it and share it, and like, do you know what I mean? That helps. But I don't like forcing things down people. I think if it's good, then people will listen to it. And I said that about the mix with Vinny, and everyone were like, and it did well. Like, and then it led on to another one and other stuff, and a few promo videos I did that did really well. To be fair, like. So
what have you done in any of the videos?
I've done. I did. My first one was, I think, to one of Rome's tracks, and that did all right. And then.
So what you doing, like a studio?
Yeah, I just did one of them. Like, I've not done nothing like that level up. Like, that is next level, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like,
I seen that the other day.
That's where we're at now, though. And it's good to see, like, because my first one was just camera, booth.
Yeah. So where'd you do that
Collective.
Right,
I do
yeah.
everything through there really because I've been going since I was 13. It's just home from home. I'm like
Yeah.
well more comfortable than there. It's
Right. I've never been myself, so like
it's a good little gaff. It's
Yeah.
all right. But yeah, I did that one. I did another one to a Georgie one, and that really went off. And then from there, I did a flexed one.
Did you have people reaching out to you then, saying, "Oh, well," or like, because what I've noticed now is, I'll stand have a crack with like some MCs, and they'll say like, "Oh, so and so producers reached out and said, well, will you do this?" Because it obviously boosts their numbers if you do well.
Yeah, I've done a couple of promo ones for a few events that I were on, and I think the best one I've did was Lukey asked me to do one for his flexing tour out thing, and that obviously he's built up a following, and rightly so over the years.
Yeah.
Because Luke is another one in that bracket. He's gone from like.
I can remember when Lukey was like up and coming, and like he was always different because his style and his voice and his flow But I remember seeing him for the first time and thinking, "Oh, he'll do all right."
Yeah, he's like again. He's just took it. He can do it all. You can put him in front of a crowd of any size, and he puts some there. It's a really good talent. Like, and not everyone can do it.
I think he's really leveled up in the last sort of 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Like over the last 5 years, he seems to have like he's got into that bracket of with them guys. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before he was always knocking at the door. I think
the ones who just seem to do it effortlessly, innit? They're like. That's when you know you're at that level where you can just do it, switch it on, and just no matter who's in front of you, no matter how many numbers of people are in front of you.
So, what was the first event you did come back? What was it?
Sank.
Was it that Sank one? Was it?
Yeah, that first event I've ever did.
Oh,
first event I've ever done was. Right. Oh no, that's a lie. Actually, sorry. Backtrack there. Everybody's bouncing. Lynchy were working from down here, John Allsop and that. He booked me off back at first video. We did a little one in Manchester and then we went into lockdown. But that was the only gig I did, and that was about 3 weeks before, like a couple of weeks before lockdown.
Yeah.
In Khaleesi in Manchester, that was the first gig I did.
How was that?
For 10 years, it were alright. Yeah.
How did you find it? Like, because obviously you've always been, I'll call you a studio MC.
That's what I.
Yeah,
that's what I prefer. That's what I prefer. I prefer getting my teeth into a mix. And
so, how did you find it coming on to go and play in a gig? Because obviously it's your first time doing it.
The first one was just, I don't know. I think it was just wiping off some cobwebs. Really, I don't think I give it much thought. I just think I went in and MC'd. And
did you have any nerves with regards to like you going out in front of a crowd doing it? Like, I don't know if when you do your mixes, you have people in the collective or like that. But...
Yeah, because I did when I got to Sank. Because to me, like, obviously, that was it. That was the one, Sank. That was the CD, like, event CDs I used to listen to. So I always wanted to do Sank. And then when I turned out just doing it on the first one after lockdown, I was proper nervous because I appreciate you can't do what I do live for an hour. Yeah. No one wants that, like, live. So, and Up until that point, I'd one gig ever live. So it were a proper, like, eye opener.
I think you must have impressed some people, because I remember I was on, and then who came on after me? I can't remember who came on. Who was on when you went on? Can you remember what the DJ was?
Sure, Drake Liddell were on at Carlisle or Blackpool. Carlisle. Drake Liddell, yourself.
I know who was on when you first got on the mic.
I think Lee Rich.
Right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Lee Rich.
Because
I think your set were just. I think I were getting there as your set were finishing, and I think Lee were on after you.
Right. So I just remember when you got on the mic. I think I was standing there having a crack with a couple of lads, and like I think a lot of people took notice of what you were doing. Like, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like a lot of like so. But I looked over and I was like, oh, he's doing something different, and I liked it personally. And I found that. Like, you grab people's attention. Like, as you say, if you've just come back for the first time, properly doing an event, I think you've properly nailed that. Like personally, because I remember doing my first gig and I shit the bed. It was crap. Like, so it's first impression. I think you done all right. Like, so did anything come off the back of that? Was it more bookings or?
Yeah, there were a few. I've not done like lockdown mess. Like the events were getting cancelled still, weren't they? Do you know when they come off? But really, I just stuck with Farrell. Really, I've just kind of just based off what he were doing. I'm not in. Yeah. Like I said, like I'm not really. I know what I do well, and I know. Like, think I've got better live, as you will. Do you know, the more you do it, and there is bits that I work on, but that's not. Well, I'm not going to apply everything into making sure I'm that when there's other things. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather write a rhyme.
Yeah.
Or I'd rather work on a mix than do an event. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, definitely, because you can be more creative in the studio.
That's it. Like, I think that's why I've clocked on, because I don't think I write rhymes. There's only a few people that write them like us, that tend to tell stories and just go off on weird ones. And
I remember coming to. I was playing at Sank in Blackpool, and for whatever reason, I'm sure you were on the stage with like Easy and that. Have I remembered that right?
Yeah.
So was that the first one back after lockdown? Was it? If I'm not
Possibly,
mistaken?
I think the first one. I think it was on a Friday. First one back. I think it was August. I think it was on a Friday night. I think it was. And when I got there, Easy was on, and I did do a bit with Easy when I got there, and. Yeah, like I said, he just brings you out of your shell kind of a bit. He kind of just like, I don't know what it is. I just love performing with him.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I think he's a very relaxed person as well.
Is,
so it's
he's just like,
it can put you in your comfort zone. But I remember, because it was the DJ box above it, and then there's a stage, and I was standing there like by the bar, and then you seem to like sort of bounce off each other very well. It's not like a typical Sank MC what you were doing. It was he was doing his bit, and then you were doing that, and then it was as if it was like appeasing both parties, like, because a lot of people do like coming for the rushy MCs, whereas a lot of people like coming for the music, so it's like hosting. So it was like as if you were given like the best of both worlds. Like,
I'll take that.
No, do you know what I mean?
Like
it's because some people will have a go at you and say like, oh, you just fucking let the music breathe and whatnot, which I think you should as well, but how can I describe it? When you were doing it, I can't remember who was on the decks at the time, but it just seemed to be every time there was a drop coming, Easy would be like keeping the crowd up, and then when it was kicking in, you were giving your lyrics out, and it was just.
It's good when it works
people,
like that.
It was sometimes is it just a dynamic? Maybe I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I don't know. It depends as well. A lot of it's like that. The flow you have. If you've got that particular flow, you can. When it gets like that, you seem to. Cause I'm saying with Buckley. Like if me and Buckley are like back to back somewhere, me and him can kind of like pick it up like quite like that,
so,
and just.
I've see what you were saying about your studio CDs and that. What have you been doing like lately? Have you been like hooking up with other MCs or? I sound like I'm being ignorant.
It's fine. I do me.
I don't get a chance to see
everything
everyone
I got my Cause Why Not thing that started with Vinny, and that started with me on my own. But obviously, over time, I've got other people in on it, and then I met Cal. Obviously, me and him really click, and he thinks how I think, and we did like it is what it is mix at the start of this year, and that's done really well. So I'll start because Why Not now, I'll probably split with other MCs every now and again, just chuck a mic about, and then I'll keep my solo ones with him. Cause I do like working on them, like doing it on my own, a solo mix.
So when a DJ does a mix, right? I don't know the process as an MC. Do you know what I mean? Especially like studio MC. So when you do you get him to send you the mix over and then you just start writing over it, or have you got rhymes that
I've got like
you fit them in?
I have got rhymes like. Standard couple of 16 bars, couple of 32 bars that you can chuck like anywhere, for like when I'm live, like I can chuck in anywhere. But when I get a mix like that is what it is one, I'll write to the drop to the mix.
To that mix, so that's what I was getting at.
That rhyme, I might have one rhyme on that mix that I can't use anywhere else because of how many bars it is. But on that particular mix, say it's 146 bars, and I will fill that.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't end up on another mix, it'll have to just wait until I can use it somewhere. But I tend to write them. My process is horrible. It takes me weeks, but I'll write them so they'll be like if it's like a 32 bar.
Yeah.
It'll make sense as 2 separate 16s.
Yeah.
Or a 64 will make sense as 4 separate 16s.
So if a drop came in, you could cut it off.
Yeah, there's method to all the madness. It's proper. Everything's got a link, and it's hanging. It's a horrible process.
A bit like a callback sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So then you could carry on that 16. Yeah, it drops back in or something like that.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. They've always got I don't know. I think weird. I never do things.
But is that a thing that you're conscious of? Like that you realise that you are more of a studio MC.
Yeah. And like I know what I am, and like I like that though.
Yeah.
I like because as much as
I think everyone tries to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
I'm
and-
guilty for that myself as well, by the way.
and that's fine, but as much as like Saturday nights are where the money is, and that's where the people are, and everyone likes playing to a crowd. There's nothing better than being on stage,
Yeah.
and there's a crowd looking at you. It's the best feeling in the world. But what happens Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when there's no clubs open? People have got to listen to something,
Yeah.
and that's where I fit in pretty well. 'Cause
Yeah, no,
that's and I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? There is.
Yeah.
I appreciate that I'll never do what Clover does, like because not everybody can do that. And
Yeah.
as much as I will keep improving my live game, I'd rather write rhymes. I won't sacrifice them to do that.
That's
And
understandable. It's a good mindset to have as well. Like, as I said, you're not trying to be the jack of all trades where you're just all right at one thing. You would rather like master one style of craft.
Yeah, that's
sort
it.
of thing.
And I enjoy that more. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun, innit? It's not. It's never going to be not for me. It's never going to be a full-time job, is it? If it was, then things may be different. Or do you know what I mean? But I just don't see it like that. I just have fun with it, and other people have fun listening to it. So why stop doing it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You were saying about like you were inspired by like Eminem and that when you were younger. Do you find that like you reference that when you're writing? Because I
don't reference him, but there's definitely
not reference.
There's definitely similarities. I can get weird and proper deep and a bit gruesome like him on some of them, and that's definitely him. His early stuff still there, but I attribute it to like stuff that maybe have happened to me. Nothing like it's similar, but I can take a little part of that and then think I can make something funny out of that or something weird out of that.
So when you're saying you go down different avenues, like. I know this might be a weird one, and I've only ever seen one or two people do it, but like, have you got like two characters to it? Like, as you say, you can do something really funny. Do you change your tone, or if you're going to do like an aggressive dark rhyme, I'm thinking along the lines of like Marshall Mathers versus Slim Shady.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. No, I'm doing a mix with Scott Sim at the minute. Like, it's called Plenty in 20, and it's kind of, if you ever heard any Harry Shotter's mixtapes, the drum and bass MC, it's kind of just non-stop for half an hour, and this one's 20 minutes, and I've tried to do it like that, kind of the way it starts. It's kind of not one long rhyme over 20 minutes, but it's not far off.
Yeah.
And it kind of just leads from one bit to the next. Not proper tight-knit linked, but it starts there and it travels there. It's not just random rhymes dotted through a 20-minute mix. It's
like a story,
yeah. Like 6 similar ones that'll follow on. Like
I don't know what the process is for MCs or like that, but like, would you ever do like a proper album? As in, I don't know, something like a Marshall Mathers EP or something like that.
I think I spoke to Demo Rutter about that the other day, and Joe. Like, that's how I think. I think in stuff like that. Like,
just because the way you're writing stuff, it sounds like it would make
the level
make
up
sense.
stuff. Like the level up stuff and the videos people do, like the Gasoline's Lukey P did, and like other ones like that. That's where I'd go with it. I'd focus trying to do that stuff.
Yeah.
More than I would trying to do the live stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Sops did it with that Summer Sun tune last year.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's what perks my interest.
Yeah.
But you just need money to do them. I never got any. So, like, that's on the back burner. But if you give me a couple of grand to do a couple of videos, that's where I'd go. I'd go and record proper videos and see how that does.
Yeah. Would you never record like an album? So
Yeah,
like, I'm trying to think of something where these rhymes were wrote specifically for a track.
I spoke to, I think, Joe and Damo about it the other day. Like, someone should just sit with a producer, have 10 tracks made, like, however, and then make the song out of them, like you would like a rap song.
Like a rap album, yeah, exactly.
I did speak about it the other day, but again, it's pulling. No one's done it before. It's pulling it off, and
no one's done it. Well,
people
you could be the groundbreaker.
There's a lot of people around here quick for shit on you, like very quick. And do you know what I mean? So it's
definitely, mate. There's a lot of people waiting for you to make a mistake.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
Love it as well.
I've had it in the past.
I love it as well.
One of the things. It's people will never compliment you. Not everyone, by the way. I'm just saying that there is people who actively follow you.
Yeah,
just for failure.
It's mad, isn't it? No, there's not a day where everyone's happy.
No.
Ever.
And the thing is as well because we're into music and it's all into tastes and stuff. You're never going to please everybody.
Exactly. That's why I just think, well, so why bother? That's why I just do what I'm doing. Never gonna. I could overnight become the best horse ever, and someone's gonna go, "You don't write like you used to."
Yeah,
I could not horse at all, and they'll just go, "He doesn't even try an horse when he's like, he don't care." But so you're never gonna win. So
yeah, just do what makes you happy. I
Yeah,
think,
innit?
definitely. So coming up now, have you got anything sort of planned? Like, have you got a new mix
got
the
this-
works? Are you writing for something?
yeah,
in
I've got
particular?
got a promo video to do. Cal's just had a track done. With Porky FX, Frog's Legs, plug there.
Yeah. I think I might have heard that.
Yeah, plug this belter, love it. I'm gonna do a promo vid for that for an event coming up. Don't think I can say the event yet. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think it'll.
It's announced, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the time of this, it hasn't. And then obviously the Plenty in 20 with Scott Sim to come, and then I'll do another Cause Why Not. Get a few heads on that.
So with them cause why nots, do you draft guests in, like guest MCs or?
I keep Mitchie. Obviously Vinny with me DJ, but we used to do it solo, and then Vinny's just gone a bit quiet lately doing his own thing. I'll never like not use Vinny, like if he's like depending on what mood he's in, like if he wants to do it or not. Carlo did the last one. I think I'm gonna get Donna Allsop, Crazy D do next one. I keep with Mitchie all the time, Buckley all the time.
Yeah.
Kev all the time, and then just do whoever. Like it's not like it's not. That's
So are they the core MCs on the cause why nots? Would you say they're like the core
they'll always
ones?
get the call to do it. I don't like if they want to do it.
Yeah.
I'll always ask them if
Would
you're
you
up
ever,
to me.
would you ever like draft guests in just to
yeah,
spice it
if,
up?
yeah, but again, it's time. A lot of people do their own thing. A lot of people are busy, don't they? And a lot of people.
I find it hard when someone tries to get me involved in, like I say, little projects. You know, would you think about trying to do this? And I'll be like, I really, really want to do it, but it's finding the time to box my other stuff off, box other stuff that people have.
Again, a lot of it's
you know what I mean?
just timing again, isn't it?
It's one of them things.
You can't always hold everything off for other people.
Yeah.
I like being busy, because again, I can't motivate myself now to write a 16 or a 32. I will just take 32 out of a longer one that I do at some point if it's there. I need a mix. I'm no good. Like, I won't even write if I'm doing a mix with other people. I'll not write nothing for it. So I don't know when I'm going to be on that scene. I need a month with a mix before I'm even close to recording it. I count every bar to each drop, and there'll be bits where the beat changes or the riff changes, and I'll want to write a specific bit to that. So many like formulas in it where things go and stuff.
Oh yeah, I understand what you mean. So we'll end off this first section now, and then we're back in 2 minutes. Back once again for section 2 of the podcast. This is questions that you've wrote in. If you want to write any questions into the podcast, just remember, drop them in our Instagram and Facebook inboxes, and we'll make sure they get asked. So I haven't told you these beforehand, so we're just going to have to riff off it.
Yeah, no worries.
Would you rather do a gig that's got no atmosphere / quiet and get a good wage, or do a small wage gig that's packed and intimate and loving it? And that's from Mark.
Short paid gig. That's busy. I hate MCing to no one. I'd rather not take a wage. I'd rather not take the wage, give the wage back and go, I'll just go home. I'd rather, like, MCing to the bar staff and the wall is the worst thing ever, because then you really don't know what to do. Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, you don't know how to carry
But you
yourself.
can't. There's no point MCing a rhyme because there's no one to listen to it. You can't host because there's nobody to host. Like there's just no point you being there at all. It's the worst thing ever.
As a DJ, it's really hard because you can't get people up on the dance floor if there's no one there.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So as an MC, I can't imagine how it goes.
There's just no point. It's just like what do you say? What can you say?
Yeah, I was going to ask you as well before, I forgot to ask. Do you know when you do your writing process, where do you pull inspiration from? Like when you say you tell stories, where are you pulling that from? Is it everyday life or? Yeah,
loosely, or I will hear. I wrote one the other day. Do you remember Dick Dastardly from Wacky Races?
Yeah.
I was watching something on telly, and somebody literally just said, the phrase "dastardly deeds" about something. So from there, that just triggered something. Do you remember that Wacky Races? Right, I can do a rhyme about him. But and that just pings off. I've got Stacey. That's about a smackhead.
Yeah.
That's really good. That probably my best rhyme. And that's
pulled from like random.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know. That's probably pulled from watching Jeremy Kyle or something. I don't know, but like that's a mint story. That's a proper good story. It's not just about a smackhead.
There's
you feel for
to
it. You feel for it, and probably
there's layers to it. It makes sense. I just wondered when you write, where are you pulling inspiration from, sort of thing.
Just the weirdest of places. Like they always, a lot of them turn dark, and that's just years of Eminem abuse. They always end up in that weird Marshall Mathers help, like the first one, weird, dark, gritty. Most of them. Yeah,
he's got that style, hasn't he, where he can sort of get away with it as well. Do you know, like, on some of his stuff where he sort of changes up his flow and stuff like that to suit the track? Do you find yourself doing that much when you write?
Yeah, I will there'll be bits of a track, so it's like if it drops and it's just like a raw donk at first, I'll keep to that. But then if a riff comes in, I will change that part of the story. So every time the beat changes, in my head, if I'm writing a mix, every time the beat will change or the riff will change, that's the next part of the rhyme. So I will write to that change, and then that change, so that's time for my story to change direction or progress or wherever it's going.
Makes sense. It's a good way to write, to be honest with you. Next one is, where was your debut set and what was the biggest set that you played? And that's from Damien. So we've talked about your debut set. What did you say? Everyone's
my debut set, fair play to him. Rixie, who did Resurrection, he had a little gig in
who's that, sorry?
Rixie, Dave Ricks.
Right.
Resurrection. He had a little gig somewhere, because obviously it was the first night after lockdown, so we just put one together in Ellesmere Port, and he had me over. But obviously I got the call from Farrell late in the day, do I want to go and do that? So I spoke to Rixie, and to be fair to him, he went, Stank, go and do it. So my first gig ever, proper gig after the Everybody's Bouncing one in Manchester.
Yeah.
My first big one was Sank at Flamingos, first night back after lockdown.
Right, would you say that's your biggest gig as well?
New Year's Eve Sank were pretty big.
Yeah.
No, the best gig I have done to date was the Fat Goose Infliction Antidote All Day over Ibiza Courtyard and Pure last summer. It was just a really good day, start to finish.
Yeah, it's got a good vibe to it, hasn't it? The Ibiza bar.
Yeah, it's got a really good day. Did a set there and then did one in Pure.
Yeah,
that was the busiest one I've done.
Is there any DJs who you like working with? So who were you on with that day? Like live, I mean, I'm not about studios.
I did the day set with my mate Dodd. He's from local lad. He's only been at it about 18 months and he's so good. His tune selection and the way he mixes, he's just so good. He's like, he doesn't do it, he works away a lot. So he's on Next Deviation at Summer Sank, and obviously he works away a lot, so it's hard for him, and obviously he's not been at it that long. He's not pushed himself nowhere near as hard as he needs to, but he's really good. Like him, obviously Cal, who I do It Is What It Is with, me and him just click. So I'd be happy if I just did every live set with him, because I just know what.
Is it because you can rely on what he's going to play next?
I don't need to. He's the only person ever that has done me a mix. First time, along with Scott Sim, this 20 minutes one. There's only two people ever that have done a mix, and I've gone, oh, change that. And he sent me one over first time, and we went with it. And from there, it's just he knows how. I don't know. He knows how I write. He knows like what
works where. Next question is: if you were in a film made by yourself, who would you choose to play you? And that's from Chris. So if you were doing like a 8 Mile style movie about yourself, you're coming into the scene and stuff, what actor do you see playing yourself?
That's a good one. I don't know. Probably someone. I don't know. Probably just. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's on the spot, mate. I know you do the Brad Riffresh story. I think.
Go on. Who would you have?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
Nah, I'm joking. It would have to be some sort of big guy, wouldn't it? I haven't got the build of The Rock, so it can't be him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I have Stan from the Eminem video?
Yeah.
The actual Stan. So I'm just a poor bounce version of him, basically. Yeah, someone like him, someone proper do it, someone like Pete Davidson or something like that. Someone funny.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson would be funny. Sort of
Yeah,
stoner,
yeah.
that'd be funny. I'll take him. My missus got me onto him actually. I'll take that.
He goes with that Kim Kardashian, doesn't he? So
That's a whole other podcast. That if we start talking about that.
Who would I get to do mine? I'm trying to think. So it would have to be someone like
Johnny Vegas.
Johnny Vegas, yeah, obviously. Yeah, he's got the accent and everything for it as well. It's like fucking hell.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Can you imagine
Can't
rocking up to a Sanctuary gig and just that's how it is.
Mega,
definitely that would be Johnny Vegas who does mine.
good, that
Let's see, what have we got? The last question you maybe can't relate to. It's more of a DJ's question. It was A up, simple one. Nucleus or tidy, and that's from James. To answer your question, James, I'd say tidy. But obviously you're not really into the hardware.
I couldn't tell you how to turn a mixer on or a controller on. I don't know how to turn a mic on, which I do think is ignorant. I will at some point learn the basis of how to mix and how you do mix, because it's handy, innit? I just think it's a bit ignorant.
I find that if you're an MC, it's always good to it's always
good to be able to know how to turn mic up when everyone's telling you it's too quiet.
When someone says to you, for instance, I'm just trying to think, but like if someone says to you, oh, he's a mix, and then you're like, you can speak their language, do you know what I mean, and say, well, actually, can you mix out like 32 bars after that or something? It's always good to learn the DJ side of it, so then you can.
Yeah, I can count the bars and that. I have to, don't I?
Absolutely. No, but what I mean is in the style of mixing, for instance, like if you've got like, mix that on like that drop or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm proper ignorant with it. I have no idea to any part of your job or producing. So I do need to, but like I said though, it's just because of just that time off. I've just come back, rhymes. That's it. Like I don't know anything technical at all, and it is annoying, really.
I want to ask you as well. I know this is more because it's always DJs I have on or promoters or whatever on the podcast. I think you're only the third ever MC. But yeah, so I want to ask you what's your 3 favourite tunes ever, or sort of tunes that mean something to you? Obviously, whether you like spitting over them or something along the lines of that.
Kill Bill, that George G made for me.
Right.
It's my favourite film, that. And he made that better than I thought it were going to be.
Yeah.
3 favourite. See, I'm not good with names of tunes, really, as well. I just like... Glover's done some good stuff recently. Really good stuff, actually.
The Glove Box.
Yeah, he's come on leaps and bounds, and
he's came on so much. Like since he first started sending me music, I was like, and he sent me something. I was like, wow, this is
he's a good lad as well. I'm so glad he's getting like
recognition.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Like he proper deserves it. I'm proper happy for him. Glue, Georgie and Rome Glue. That's an epic. And I'll tell you now. I'm gonna have to go on YouTube for it because I don't know its name, but it's an old Underloker Scottish Clan. Do you remember that one?
No.
That's a belter. That's an old school one. That I'll tell you now. I'm sure this is a Fitzy Rossi B tune, but this is an old one from. What's it called? Old one from back in the day.
And what's it called?
This one I can't. I'll tell you now. It's on here. This one. It's Right Before My Eyes.
Oh yeah, good tune. Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
That is one of my favourite tunes ever. Right Before.
That
the original. Like I can't remember it is. I think.
What, the Fitzy and Rossi B version?
I don't know if it's Fitzy and Rossi B. I can't remember.
Has it got like a rushy riff in it?
Yeah.
Right. It's a good tune.
I don't know if it's. I'm no good with producers as well, but that tune is probably my favourite golden oldie one.
So, have you got like? I know it sounds daft, but like, have you got a pre-thought of like, or if that tune ever gets played, or Glue, or what? I can't remember what the first one, or the Kill Bill one. If it gets dropped in a club, have you got like
I did a
idea of what you would?
Yeah, I did a promo video to the Kill Bill one.
Yeah.
So that I think that's just naturally.
You
just naturally go with that, but yeah, I'm all right with like fitting in and stuff like that. Like, I've got enough. I've got plenty like that. I could do a winger set through with rhymes, no problem.
Yeah.
But I do find that problem live, especially when you've had a few drinks and there's a drop and you think, right, I'll have it this one, and then your med just goes, oh, which one though? Because like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my thing with live. It's indecision. My thing currently, my big thing when I'm live at the minute is the indecision of, do I go with a bar or do I leave this one? That's what I've got to figure out still.
It's similar to DJing, I suppose, because like I'll be flicking through tunes of like what to play next. And I'll play this. This will go off this, and then as you go to queue up something below it, and it's just like, oh, this would also go, and it's like you're just indecisive, isn't it? That's what it is. And you find yourself sort of questioning, oh, I'll play that and then I'll play that.
Yeah,
and like,
that's what it was. Like, first of all, I did pig ignorant about it, saying, no, I'll never do it. I do rhymes, that's what I do. I'll just do them live, it'll be right. And then I stuck to that for about 6 months, going, I'll not change, and then slowly but surely.
Do you find that, like, people, like, do you get a lot of crowd interaction when you do the rhymes?
No, that's what I mean, because I have started to write a few more that are tailored to a crowd being there. Because you have to, like, at first I was like, I'll never do it, I won't do it, this is what I do, this is how I'm doing. But as I've done more, and I've started to enjoy it more because I've done more, and I get used to, like, I still don't think I can hold a crowd, which I don't mind saying that. I don't think I could, on my own, on an hour set, could hold a crowd. Like, I don't think I could do it yet. Like, but I have started to tailor, whereas 12, 18 months ago, I wouldn't have tailored how I write. Now I do, and I'm trying to.
Have you got any like callback rhymes or not callbacks or like chants?
I've got one. I've got one that I've just wrote. This is what I mean. I've just done it, and I think it'll be all right because I've done it once live, and a few people, because obviously a few people when they heard me doing it were shocked because they're like, "Hang on a minute, didn't think you were going to be doing it." Like, I thought. So once I start putting it on a mix or something,
it'll grow from there.
That's what I've got to do now. I've got to like build it up because people listen to my mixes. So if I put it on there,
well, it's like say Farrell, for instance, like that You Can't Touch Me thing. That came from, I know he did it before that, but like he did when he did it on that Wigan P mix, and then now everyone knows that as that.
That's what I mean. So but again, I struggle writing them. Yeah. That's what I'm like, because I'm that set in my ways of how I do it. It's harder for me to write something an 8-bar chant than it is for me to write an 100-bar story. I struggle with it because But I can admit that. Do you know what I mean? I've got a problem with going.
Yeah, no, I think the main part is knowing your weaknesses.
That's like there's nothing wrong with it because again, though, there's always going to be people that'll tell you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. Like, you don't have to. Like, you'll learn yourself what you need to do. Like, I find it harder people telling me what to do because then you're in your head going, "What? Like, do I have to do that? Do I have to do that?" I think just go work it out for yourself. And when you're
coming through, I always find that like people try and mold you into something they want rather than
that's it. Like
person.
That's it. Like, people have opinions and you're allowed to have opinions. Some people might find it wrong, but like.
But then it plays in your head as well at the same time.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But like, if you can, like, I get it. I get like you can tell me what your preference of MC is and how you would like people to MC. That's fine. Just don't tell me how to MC. Like that's my thing. Like, that's fine. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Just don't tell me how to do my bit. I don't tell you how to mix a tune or do you know what I mean? How to make a tune, or I won't tell you how to write your rhymes. Just do I like it. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Don't make a big song and dance about it.
Exactly.
Like,
right. So we'll sort of tie this up now. What I do with everyone is I asked everyone. You're about to get the electric chair because you've been a bit of a dick, and then you get one more meal. So what you having? You big foodie?
Yeah. Oh, mate.
You can have a starter, main, and dessert if you really want it. Your last meal.
Right, starter. I'm having calamari or like a prawn cocktail or something of that standard. Main, I'm having steak of a tomahawk standard.
Yeah.
With whatever you want to throw with it, and dessert, watermelon Laffy Taffy.
Fucking hell, that's odd. I wouldn't have went for the last one. Like, it's not. I'm not a watermelon guy. Like, but yeah, it's fucking. You were fairly certain in everything you gave there.
That was a good one. Drink chocolate milkshake. Done.
Proper wash that down.
Or a coffee. Definitely. No coffee. Can't go without a coffee.
You'll be buzzing when you're on the electric chair. We're just gonna tie this up now, mate. Where can people find you?
Facebook. That's it. I don't really big on social media. Price Facebook, SoundCloud. I'm not really on SoundCloud actually. Yeah, I'm not. I just let other people. I'm not Not hard to find, but I'm not everywhere. Sanctuary, really.
So MC Pricey on SoundCloud.
Anywhere Sanctuary, yeah. It is what it is, because why not?
Yeah, right. No worries, mate. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening, everyone. As usual, if you enjoy the podcast, then please share it with your mates. It goes a long way. See you later.